Hello everybody, today I'm going to be doing some knock sensors on this 2004 Chevy right here, so stay tuned for that and we'll get right on it and show what we got going on. Alright, so to get started we got to take off this plastic cover, this air intake, and then we'll start working our way down to them, so stay tuned for that and watch and see what we get done here.
There's a hole right there, almost fell in there.
Put that in after the fact, it'll be better anyway. I'll set this, just sit on tab, get in my truck for now. Dirt in his engine.
What?
Cut dirt in his engine.
That's not good.
Probably K&N filter don't have any oil on it. It's never been oiled. I don't think. Should be an oil bath filter.
Yeah, there's a lot of dirt right there.
Cover it. Looks like a 10. 8mm. There we go, that makes it a little easier to get into there. You want to hop up there, bud, and I'll give you a 10 and you can undo those?
Yeah.
I'll hop up there and get those. I can't do it right now, I just jump up there myself. There's 3 pieces in that little bracket.
Alright.
So trying to get used to this gimbal. So Kean's taken out those 3 bolts that hold the harness onto the top of the manifold. So we'll get those off, and then we'll start moving things out of the way, and then we'll get all the bolts out of that manifold and pull it off out of the way, and then we'll do what we need to do. Lay those up in that little rail above the rubber right there, like right there, yep. All 3 of them. Maybe find a wrench for you, a wrench?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Or something. We may run out of daylight and may have to come do this tomorrow and finish it up. Hopefully not.
Yeah, that'd suck.
Yeah, if it happens, it happens. We'll just get it done in the morning. We'll get that last one out. Pull that little plastic plate off and set it somewhere out of the way. see here. Tell which way this pushes to connect it. Can you see it from outside? I think they squeeze in.
That's what I was thinking.
You hooked together back there? No? There we go. You just push it in from one side or the other and it releases. Now you get a flat screwdriver and pop these, Kean.
Alright.
Then we'll pull. There's so much more stuff.
Here's a flat screwdriver.
Alright, so if you put it in here, you can generally get it right in there on both sides and twist that a little bit. And it'll get it out enough that you can push that piece down like that. Take the throttle off, lay it off to the side, off the other one. That line, if I can leave it hooked up and lay this out of the way, I will. That's just a coolant line.
Alright.
I'd rather it be hooked up and not spraying coolant everywhere all over.
Yeah, it's
So these, you pull these tops up, squeeze those in, and then you can usually just wiggle those off. I don't know what the heck the freaking deal is there. There, like that. See?
bingo.
I can see it right there. I get it later. Like that. And you get a socket and pull these off.
Alright.
You gotta get this out too. There's another nut right here. Huh?
Well, you think that sucker will fit on that bolt?
No, it's probably 8mm. We'll do 8 in a second again. So you need a 10mm to take off all these bolts and stuff. All these here and here to get the wire harness and everything off. But you need an 8mm to take the bolts off that are right down in here. It's for your fuel rails, to get your fuel rails out of your way so that you can undo all them bolts and take them off. You want to hop up there and get that back one? I don't think I can get it. See it right there?
Uh-huh.
And we got one on the other side. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and pause this because we're wasting a lot of battery, but I'll explain everything as we go. Right now, Kean's undoing those, the fuel rail on that side. I've got to go right here and undo this, but I got to go find a tool for it, so I don't really want to sit here and record while I do that. But I'll take that, pop that metal piece off of there. From the back, it's a little keeper, and then I'll slide the little piece in there and pop that off. And I think that's the only fuel line on that one, I hope. It might have, I think it's got one. It might have a return line somewhere though, so we'll see in a second. But anyway, hold on and I'll turn this back on as soon as I get ready to that point. So Kean, he's gonna take out these, let's see here, get this thing panned down. He's taking out them bolts, fuel rail bolt. There's one right there by the alternator, and there's one up here on that end right there. So he'll pull this one out, and then we'll pull the other one out after that one. You're tightening it.
Trying to avoid hitting my knuckles on that thing.
Yeah, I don't blame you. So as you can see right there, that bolt that's right underneath that fuel line right here that I got to pull off, that bolt's the one that's got to come out for the fuel rail. So you guys just keep watching, and we'll get that out of the way, and then we'll show you the steps to get everything else unplugged and off. Like, I got to go down in here. All these gray plugs down in here, right here, that one, that's for your injectors. And you'll have, depending on if you have a 4.3 or a V8, you'll have 4 down each side. This one's a 5.3 engine, which is pretty good bulletproof engine. But it'll have 4 of those down each side underneath the injector rails into each injector. So I'll show you guys once we get to that point again. So just bear with me. All right, so Kean's grabbing that back one right there, that back bolt out of the fuel rail on the driver's side, which is pretty easy to get to that one. So we'll get back with you in a minute. All right, everybody, so I got that thing tore down to the point that I can get to. I can't find my fuel disconnect deal, and I usually use a piece of an oil bottle if I can't find that, but I'm gonna go get the proper tool in the morning so that I can just get this done. All right, so it's the next day, and I'm gonna climb up here and try to show you guys here. So I still gotta pull off the throttle body here. I gotta pull that off. Those 3 bolts. But down in here, okay, so all these bolts, there's 1, 2, 3, there's 4 or 5 down each side of them bolts. These are underneath the fuel rails here. You can go between it and the manifold, intake manifold. And there's bolts here. So I'll be taking those bolts out. And then I'll have to come over here to this side. Let's see if I can see any of them. Yeah, I can see a few of them down in there. There's one right here. But there's 5 down each side. You got to undo those. And then got to get the fuel line off as well, which I can do that right now. It's right here. So you got to get, I got to get my little special tool. I have a good fit.
What are you looking for, the little yellow one?
Those little clip remover. Okay, so in order to remove that fuel line, you need a set of these right here, which I've got more of them over here. I broke the one I need right here, which is, what is it, 3/8? So I'll use the yellow one. This isn't the way you're supposed to do it, but I've done it this way before. Put the yellow one in on that fuel line deal. Let me see here. So you put this around the line this way, slide it up into there, wiggle around a little bit, and then you can pull that right off. There you go. Oh, I already actually released the pressure, which I'll show you guys that because I didn't show you guys that before. But right here, you take this off. Oops, losing my camera. I'll take that little cover off, Kean, please. Kean's pulling that off real quick there. Let's see if I can get this thing sitting here safely so it's not going to fall. Oop. Okay, so you're just going to want to take the edge of a screwdriver or something like that and push this in. It's a Schrader valve, similar to a tire. You just push it in to let the pressure out. I already did that earlier today. But that's how you do that. So then just put the Schrader valve cover back on so you don't lose it. And that'll take away all the pressure, and you should be wearing safety glasses and everything to pull the fuel line off over here. Because when you pull that off, if you don't bleed that down, it'll spray you in the face and all over you with high pressure gas. You don't want that. So take precautions for if you're going to be doing this. But I'm going to put this on pause, and I'm going to remove, there's a bolt here, a bolt down here, and a bolt on this side. I'll take all 3 of them bolts off. We'll take this off and lay it out of the way so we don't have to disconnect these coolant lines. So we can just set that up here. Then we can take them bolts out that side and the bolts out of this side here. We'll lift this up and take it right out. So stay tuned for that. All right, so as we were talking before, I have kean doing all them bolts to hold the intake manifold on. You need a ratchet to break it loose?
Yeah, probably.
Let me get you a ratchet, or you can grab one over there off the back of the truck. See if I can get this thing. Kean's pretty good help. He's trying to learn how to do all this mechanic stuff, so now you can take it out with that. I'd loosen the other ones behind it.
All right.
Just so they come out easier with that little impact. Just like that. Get all 5 of them.
There's one way back in there.
Yeah, if you can get it. You might have to get a wobbly for it. Get it broke loose.
Yeah.
You probably won't be able to reach those very back ones with that unless you put a wobbly on it. There's a wobbly sitting on the battery on the other side over there.
All right.
If you need it. You need that wobbly?
Yeah.
It's on the battery or something around the tailgate. Yeah, that's the one right there. Spin them up out.
Yeah, they're out.
They don't come all the way up out, I don't think. They stay in the manifold. You just take the bolts out there. All 5 of them out?
Yep.
I've still got a couple on the other side that I didn't get out because I couldn't climb up in there if you want to get them. Yeah, and Kean's helped me today, so there he is right there. Kean has his own channel. It's called Kean Knowles Outdoors. He actually does bull riding and gold panning and just outdoor adventure stuff. So go check him out over there on his channel if you want to, and like and subscribe to his channel. It don't cost you anything and helps him grow his channel so that we can do more of these fun things.
I cannot find that bolt.
Yeah, it's hard to get to. You got it on her?
Yeah. There you go.
May have to get a ratchet and break that loose. Did it break loose?
I don't think so.
All right, let me come over here and grab a ratchet. There's a good ratchet right here. Oop.
Might need an extension too.
Yeah, you'll need that extension, I'm sure. And I'll help you after you get those bolts out. We'll take the throttle body off the front right there.
All right.
I'll help you do that part. I can't lay on that with my stomach the way it is and work on that. It'll freaking make me sick.
Yeah.
Freaking surgeries.
I hope I don't never have to get surgery.
Yeah, you don't want that. Get that one broke loose, bud?
Just about.
Alright, cool.
I got one of them. I just want to get this last one. Just a pain in the butt to reach with them.
Right? Yeah, they kind of suck to reach in there. You get her?
Yes.
Awesome. See got one more back there?
Yeah.
Back in there a little further, huh?
There we go.
That one come out?
Yeah, it did.
Awesome. All right, so now we're gonna pull that piece off the front right there. Just set this right here while we do it, probably. If you guys don't have a gimbal, what brand is this one? DJI. DJI gimbal's pretty sweet. It's pretty stable. Like I move around and it doesn't really do much. All right, so I bet you it's a 10. It looks like a 10. It's a little bigger. Dude, we can get that with this.
All right.
So we'll stick this in there. Take this boot off. Will you set that boot somewhere inside the cab of this truck or something?
Yeah.
Hoping with all these adapters and things we can get down in there better. Another one on this side. Can you get that one? I can't get to it. We're really good with all this stuff in my hands. Just don't drop it, whatever you do. Heck yeah, awesome, bud. Let me get this thing somewhat pulled off. Hopefully here out of the way. That might be harder said than done. That in the way. Let me see if I get a little bar and be able to pick up on that intake. Get it to slide away a little bit. And get up over that thing. There we go. Those are all out, all the way back. 5, 5. Awesome. Dang near gives us enough freaking room. Get off that last one. There we go. Now we gotta get this all off here, up off the top. Moved up out for a minute over to here. And we can grab we never got the rest of the injection dills off on this side. There's still one hooked up. Maybe
right.
2.
Where's that screwdriver? Here it is.
That one's off. Last one. 1, 2, 3. One more. Makes 4. There we go. Got that one. Dang it. There we go. We gotta feed this line out through the bottom. Alright, so you get this up here, you gotta get this piece right here off. Little metal clip, it just kind of sits over that. Thing's harder than hell to get out of there. Just FYI. I gotta feed this thing back through this tube. That tube's out of there. You can unhook this line. It's easier to unhook over on that side. But you can just set this over here out of the way. Because I'm going to have to clean this crap all up and vacuum it out. There's the top of the engine there. So you can see you got these two plugs here. There's one there, one there. They're rubber plugs. You have to pop out, but that one's broke. Good thing we have a new harness to go on it, but we'll clean all this area up and scrape it all down. We'll make sure there's no corrosion around this so it'll seal up good with maybe a little grease on here. Remove that sensor and the one back here as well. We'll get everything all cleaned up and then we'll change that little harness out too. So stay tuned for that.
Yep.
You always want to have your vacuum so that you make sure you don't get a bunch of crap down in your cylinders through your intake ports. Everything's sucked out of there. Okay, we got all the big crap sucked out of there, so now we just gotta change this. Actually, pop this one up a little bit too. And that one looks like it's got its fair share of water in it. Been sitting there full of water. That's why it's failed, I do believe. So I guess these things right here, these get hard. Like this is supposed to be rubber and that thing's harder and hard. So we'll take and we'll put this new harness in, we'll change those two out and we'll vacuum out that water out of the hole. And we'll put a little grease around the new one so that it doesn't fail again. Back one out. Yeah, that one was nasty as nasty. Look at that thing.
Ew.
Had a lot of water that got in it. Don't smell like coolant, it's just water. So
It's nasty.
I don't think anything's leaked into there. It's just the water that's made it into the valley here and dripped down in there because it wasn't filled up real well. So we'll set that one there for now. Get this one out. They came out really super easy. Like the freaking back one back there. I thought it was gonna be a pain. It was like pretty loose. Okay, so that one's out. That one looked good still.
That one's a whole heck of a lot cleaner than the other
That
one.
was way cleaner. So we'll wipe out. See, that one's good. This one back here, it's still kind of got some moisture in it. I'll find a shop rag. Wipe that out real quick. Okay, so we're wiping these out. Getting them nice and dry and cleaned out. That looks pretty good. There's no garbage stuck in there anymore, and it's vacuumed out and wiped out. So now we'll put those new ones in. just gonna snug these up, and then I gotta go find a razor blade to clean these ports with a little bit around them. And then I will grab my torque wrench as well. Torque these into here. I believe it was 15 inch-pounds. I'll have to double check that, but I'm sure that's what they were. You can stop recording for just set to 15 inch-pounds. Okay, click there. That one click there. So those are done. These all greased up around the lip here. I can get this matched on there. These will get pushed back down into here. Wipe off the excess grease and wipe our racks. It'll make a freaking mess. You can pull these down to get them on easier. Just get it through there. Then you just take this like that. Push it in there. Put this back here out of the way where it goes for now until we set the intake on. Now we can scrape all them ports off on there. Put this stuff together.
Alright.
Good?
Yep.
Okay, so these have a tab on the bottom. These intake gaskets, the plastic piece. There's a tab over here. You gotta unpop that tab. Whoops, that one popped right off, but they're usually not that easy to come off. So there's a clip here that hooks on there, and there's one over here. So that's where those are.
It smells like fuel.
Yeah, it smells like gas is running out of the intake. So you want to clean these up real good, these surfaces, and let it clean up in there as far as I can, just because it's kind of nasty. Yeah, you go ahead and pause that for a minute so we don't waste. So you just take this tab right here on this end after you get your surface cleaned up, you work your way across. This will snap in the middle right there, and it will also snap on the end right there. So now that we're done with that process, we will get the other one off, and it's the same exact thing, just on the other side. So I'll get back with you guys shortly as soon as I get that done, and we'll set this back in there. Well, look in there, Kean, show in there. So that's all been scraped off and vacuumed up. I'm trying not to disturb as much as I can in there because I don't want to get anything down in those ports, but it's pretty clean right now. So
It's looking better.
looks a lot better. We got those installed. That plug's ready to go. I hook back on the other side of here when we go back together. So it's pretty good. It's nice and flat again. Alright, so I got that all done. Now I got to make sure that I get all this other stuff back out of the way as I go back to in there. I'm trying to avoid bumping into stuff and making a freaking mess.
Doesn't want to go back in there very good.
I don't get it, though. Oh, shoot. Okay, that one's there. Where's that other one? This one's got to come back up across the top. This is what makes this a pain in the butt. This damn thing right here.
Yeah. It's finally almost in there now.
Yeah, it's getting there. Just gonna make sure I keep all this out. Okay. Sure it's bought in there. Go. Seated right in.
There you go.
I'm going to look up the specs for these. Let's on that. We'll go ahead and put this back on there real quick. Why this is loose swing still. You want to put this on before you put your intake bolted down, because you got this piece for the neck on your water pump where the hose hook's on. You'll be able to pick it up a little bit to get it in past that. Just like so. There, now it can snug down again. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get them bolts in, all these 10. We'll go back in reverse the same way we did. Then we'll be back together before we know it. So stay tuned for that. Alright, so here's this. That snaps back on there just like so. There we go. You got to push this in on that side to get it to drop. This one goes there. This thing goes somewhere up here, right there. That goes there. That's the new wiring. And I got this that plugs into that. One back here that plugs into that. Got that one there. You got a nut here. And I'm going to put that plate on. Where that plate ended up at, you know where it
That
was?
plate is sitting on the bed of your truck right there underneath that piece of plastic. And all the bolts are right there.
Alright, I see them up there. That's cool. So you gotta make sure you get your harness back down in there good so it doesn't gonna chafe on anything. Wear holes in it, it'll cause you a headache later.
Harnesses are kind of spendy, aren't they?
Yeah, they can be. You can repair them sometimes if you know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. I probably wouldn't know what I'm doing. I'm not very good at wiring.
Yeah, you'll figure it out. It just takes practice.
Yeah.
That snaps back on there. Injector, I gotta get that back into there. Came out too far, they pull out too far. Yeah. You're better off to try to put it back on before you push this in here.
Yeah.
That little tab that you pull up on the injection. If you don't, you're gonna fight it the whole way. There we go. Fuel line back on, it snaps back on.
When you're done with that, don't forget to put all these clips back on the plugs.
Oh, I won't. Those are for this plug here, and one or two over here somewhere. We'll find them where they go in a minute. Okay, so that one's in. Make sure that all your PCV valve and vacuum line and everything's all plugged back in. So you're not fighting that. This side over here is basically done. Driver's side. Passenger side, we gotta snap these back on. All the injectors, they usually are pretty self-explanatory where they go. You can't really go anywhere else. Those back down. I got this other one. That one's locked back into place. Basically, just gotta tighten up all this stuff here. These 3 bolts, this, and then put the intake back on and the cover. And I think we're about dang near done. So we'll get back with you guys in a minute. Okay, so we got this back on. Forgot to start filming while we were doing this, but it's okay. It's just basically this rubber boot, and then put this back into it and tighten it up. Take this plug over here, plug it back into the mass airflow sensor there, and get the little clip.
I set it right here so it didn't fall off.
Okay, this little clip goes in the mass airflow sensor right here. Let me come over to that side so I can see what the hell I'm doing.
Oh, whoa, there's a hole there.
Okay, that's clipped in. We'll review all this. The injectors, they're all plugged on. The wiring's all ran back through where it goes here. These bolts are tight. Put the evap line back on and the plug for it. We put the throttle body back on, plugged in the drive-by wire here, put the clip back in, lock it on, put the intake tube back on it, plug this back in, mass airflow sensor, and then I got that plug back there plugged in. It's the air for the air pressure and the manifold pressure. And then on the other side, we got all the injection all plugged in back over here. The fuel line, you push it back on, it's on. You put this lock back on the fuel line, which is easy. You just pop it loose, it just slides in there and pushes on. Here's the new piece of wiring that goes to the NOx sensors. Got the harness plugged back into my new harness for that. So now all it's left to do is I gotta put the top cover back on up there, the plastic cover, and then we'll give it a start and see how she runs. We'll drive it up the road and back once. Stay tuned for that. Alright, so we've got her all back together now. We'll wait a little longer here, and because I had to glue a little piece and it's just dry, and once it's dry we'll fire this thing up and test it all out and see what we can do. See how she runs. I'll bet you it'll run fine, and the NOx sensor code should go away. We'll actually get I have a little scan tool for my phone. We'll probably plug that in, try it, and clear the code, make sure it stays gone. But I'm sure that one was bad because of all the rust that was in that NOx sensor. There was so much rust in it, it was just how it was. So everything's hooked up though and ready to go as soon as that last little piece dries under there. So stay tuned for that. Okay, start it up, Kean. Make sure she's gonna run good. Runs pretty good. I'm not seeing any leaks or anything, so that's a good sign. Cleared all the codes in the dash and they stayed away, so now I can give this back to my buddy and he can take it home with him. Alright, so we got that finished up. Now I can send it back to its owner. And I'd like to give a special thanks to Kean with Kean Knowles Outdoors for all his help. I just had surgery a couple months ago, so I can't really lay across the top of this thing very good right now. Luckily for me, he's out here helping me out, and he did all that stuff for me so I didn't have to and hurt my stomach. So you guys have a nice day, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. We'll finish that welder review here pretty quick. So